Hello pilots, my name is Alex and I want to welcome you to the What's in the Box review of the BlitzRCWorks LX YF-23. This is a wonderful model brought down scale from the actual Northrop YF-23. It is powered by two 2100 kV motors, 50 amp ESCs, a 6L 4000 milliamp battery, and two 70mm EDFs. This thing is wonderful during flight. It is very fast, very agile, just like the actual model. What's nice about it is the scale appearance. Everything is good, as well as the paints. Everything, if you're ordering the ARF version, which is what we'll be talking about today, it's all built in from the manufacturer. You don't have to worry about putting in any servos or any other electronics such as the motors or ESCs. This is what it will look like when it shows up at your doorstep. So we'll have this opened up right now so we can take a look at what's inside. When you open this box, you'll realize that it's not that complicated. It's very simple. You have your taped up foam pieces that serve as barriers, so it keeps everything in place. We have two main compartments, which is for the fuselage and the main wings, and then we have the one over here for the front portion of the fuselage. So the first thing that you'll probably come across with is a manual. The manual is nicely illustrated, nicely done. They're getting better as we go by. So we have everything all put in there, all the photos, all the instructions, and you have your brushless ESC instruction book, so you can configure your ESC to your liking once you receive it. Again, everything's already pre-installed. All the servos and motors are already in there. You don't have to worry about anything else but putting the major pieces together. So when you take out your barriers, or your section barriers, you'll be able to access most of the parts right here. So here we have one part of the main wing and the tail wings. Everything's sealed from the manufacturer. Everything's in its own little pouch, protected, less likely to get scratched. Next, we have the other portion of the main wing. If you've noticed, there's two servos. One is for the ailerons, and then the other one for the flaps. That's all in there, pre-installed. Next, we have the fuselage, or at least most of the fuselage. In the fuselage, what's already pre-installed are your retractable landing gears. Right here you'll have access to the EDFs and the motors, and right here in this compartment, what you can see is that it'll serve as a little section for your servo leads and your receiver. So pretty much you'll have your receiver here, and everything will be connected right here. The battery will have its own compartment, which is one of my favorite parts about this model. You don't have to worry about having to stuff everything in one area. I understand how that can be a little complicated, or sometimes even frustrating. As I mentioned, the paint to this model is very nice. All your decals, US Air Force, everything is all in there, all pre-installed, all put from the manufacturer. You can see the tail section over here on this fuselage. Very nicely done. I'm really impressed by this model. We'll put this right here for you. Next, we have the rest of the fuselage, which is the front portion. In this front portion, we have the, of course, the compartment for the battery, as I mentioned earlier, and the retractable front landing gear, as well as right here. In this section, the nose is not yet put in place, but that's because they come separately. But there's actually, the manufacturer also had already thought this out, which is really nice. If anything does happen right here, you can access the front steering servo and do any configurations or changes that you might want to do, so everything is good to go. Of course, we have the front nose piece. It's magnetic, so you don't have to glue it on. You can take it off and put it on anytime. It's well secured, so it won't fall off during flight. And then we have the miscellaneous parts that you'll need across the entire assembly. You'll have some securing locking pieces, the screws that are needed, your control horns, your backing plates for the control horns, the control rods, clevises. Everything is all in this little bag, so it should all be good to go. You always want to check it over and make sure you have everything before beginning the assembly. Last but not least, we have what we call is the rubber cement, or the adhesive that is used for this model. When you put it together, this is provided by the manufacturer. You can use this, or you can use your own personal preference glue that you might have. So as mentioned, this is a really nice model brought down to a scale version from the actual airplane. Very nicely thought out. Everything's easily accessible. You have your own separate compartments for the battery, as I mentioned right here in the front portion of the fuselage, and then you have the receiver compartment with all the servo leads and the other portion of the fuselage. You have about 7 channels that you get to use. Of course, you have your 4 basic functions which will be needed during flight, which is your ailerons, your steerable nose landing gear, your throttle, and then your rudder. Plus you'll have flaps, retracts, or retractable landing gears. And what's really nice about this model, which is something that surprised me at first, is the brakes on the landing gears. That's really nice when you're coming down for a landing. You can immediately slow down this airplane if you don't have that much runway left. Those brakes work like a charm. I'm really impressed. All in all, I think it's a nicely done model. The assembly time is very minimal, not too difficult. So this about wraps it up for the What's in the Box review of the BlitzRCWorks LX YF-23. It's a very nice scaled down replica of the actual jet. Very nice EDF airplane. All the details to it are amazing. Everything about it, even during flight, looks very scaled. Everything is neatly packaged in the manufacturer's box of this unit. Of course, we have the flight review on our YouTube page. You can always follow us on Twitter and like us on Facebook for any newer updates that we have in the upcoming days for more models. Thank you very much, and I hope you enjoyed the video.